Teachers, has this ever happened to you? I was in an IEP for a speech and language student, and she was falling behind. I had given her a full phonics assessment for the IEP to find out what she knew, what she needed. Right now we're working on Silent E, and she's a little bit behind the class, so I'm a little concerned. And then the speech and language pathologist gave her report, and she was like, well, she's reading on a 3rd grade level, she's above grade level in reading. And I look at my principal, and we're like, okay, that does not make sense. The parents didn't catch it, and I wasn't gonna stop her right in the meeting and be like, whoa, what's happening here? This is not matching up. But if you have not experienced this yet, teachers, you will. So after the meeting, I'm like, what reading assessment did you give? Because she's below grade level in my class. And she goes, oh, no, she's well above grade level, 3rd grade level. Okay, I read her the story, and she answered the comprehension questions, and she understood them all, and she was able to retell the story in detail. Apples, oranges. Teachers, if you haven't experienced this yet, you will. You think you're talking about one thing, and either a teacher, a parent, an administrator, or a specialist will be talking about something completely different. And this is what I love about the simple view of reading, is that it gets us on the same page. We have the same definition for reading. You might want to file this under it seems obvious but this is super important, I promise you, because not everyone knows this. And I love this because this affects how I teach my phonics lesson, what practice workbook pages I choose, how I teach my small group lesson, and how I assess. It also helps me when a student has reading difficulties. I can look at each different part, and Scarborough's rope, which we'll get to later, tells us there's so many parts of each of these parts. So decoding without comprehension is not reading, it's decoding. I love this because parents will come in and say, they can read chapter books. Do they understand them? If they don't understand them, they can decode chapter books, but they're not reading. We've all read pages and gone, oops, I forgot to think about what I was reading. I got to go back and read that again. Decoding without comprehension is not reading. So let's call it decoding. Comprehension without decoding is not reading. Audiobooks, podcasts, we can understand it all. We can listen, we can hear it. A student can have fabulous language comprehension, but if they're not decoding and understanding, they're not reading. That doesn't mean there's not a place for podcasts and audiobooks. I think they're amazing and wonderful. But when we're assessing reading, they need to be both decoding and understanding what they're reading, language comprehension. What I love about this multiplication sign is that if we only have language comprehension and no decoding, the reading score is 0. If we only have decoding and no language comprehension, the reading score is still 0. But as these strengthen and improve and go up, then the whole reading score goes up. And of course, they work together to help each other. When a child can decode automatically, that frees up their cognitive load, their working memory, so they can really think about what they're reading. And if a child has this robust background knowledge and vocabulary already in their own language, and if a child has a great understanding of language comprehension, if they have good background knowledge and vocabulary and syntax, and they've been read to a lot, so they have a lot of academic language, that's going to make decoding easier because they're going to know those words that they're trying to decode. You have to have both to have it be reading. This is a simple view of reading. Be sure to join me on the next episode of Science of Reading Made Simple so we can talk about how this impacts classroom instruction, and join me on my mission to stop this teacher trope. It could not be more incorrect.